Okay, I want you to try something for me right now. Just for a second. Stop listening to my voice and look at some text nearby. A book spine, an email, whatever. Just read a sentence.
Right. I'm looking at our show notes. Done.
Okay, what did that feel like? I mean, physically.
It felt normal, smooth, I guess. My eyes just kind of glided across the words.
Glided. That's the word. That's exactly it. It feels like a camera just, panning across a landscape, a smooth, continuous flow of information.
That's certainly the perception, yeah.
Well, here's the uncomfortable truth we're getting into today. That feeling, it's a complete illusion, a total biological fabrication. If you could see the raw data of what your eyes are doing, it would look like a horror movie. It's jerky, it's chaotic, and this is the part that really got me. You're actually blind for a good chunk of it.
Oh, yeah. It's much less gliding camera and a lot more strobe light in a dark room.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are reverse engineering the engine of reading. And we're basing this on a really foundational piece of research, eye movement control in reading, by Keith Rayner and Alexander Polacek.
This is pretty much the gold standard on the subject.
And that's because they're focused on how we really read, right? Not in some weird lab setup where words just flash at you. I've seen those speed reading apps.
Right. That's called RSVP, Rapid Serial Visual Presentation. And it's useful for some things, sure, but Rayner and Polacek's whole point is that that's not reading. Real reading involves moving your eyes. And if you take that movement away, you lose all the data about what the brain is actually doing.
Okay, so let's pop the hood. Let's look at the actual mechanics. You said the smooth glide is an illusion. What's actually happening when my eyes move across a sentence?
It's a stop-and-go process. Your eyes move in this rhythm of really rapid jerks and then pauses. The technical term for the jerk is a saccade.
Saccade. Sounds French.
It is. It's an old term for the flick of a sail. And it is a violent movement, biologically. It's ballistic.
Ballistic, as in? Like a bullet.
Meaning once it launches, you can't steer it. Once your brain tells your eye muscle to move, that's it. No changing your mind mid-flight. It takes, about 20 to 40 milliseconds.
And this is where you dropped that bombshell earlier. During that 20 to 40 milliseconds, I can't see.
You are functionally blind. It's called saccadic suppression.
That just sounds made up. If I'm blind, why don't I see black gaps? Why doesn't the world flicker?
Well, think about it. If you whipped a video camera around that fast, all you'd get is motion blur, right? It would be nauseating. So your brain solution is just cut the feed. It shuts down the visual input while the eye is moving, and then it stitches the two snapshots together so perfectly you never notice the gap.
So reading is actually just snapshot, darkness, snapshot, darkness.
Pretty much. And your brain is the editor that cuts out all the darkness in post-production.
That is deeply unnerving. Okay, so we only actually see during the fixation, the stop. How long is that stop?
The average is about 200 to 250 milliseconds, so a quarter of a second. But that number varies wildly with the difficulty of the text.
And when I stop, when I fixate on a word, how much am I really seeing? Because it feels like I see the whole page.
That's another illusion. Your area of high-definition vision, the fovea, is tiny. It's only about 2 degrees of your visual field.
Give me a real-world comparison. What's 2 degrees?
Hold your thumb out at arm's length. Your thumbnail, that's your fovea. That's the only part of the world you're seeing in perfect, crisp detail. Everything else is low res.
So when I'm looking at a single word, I'm only truly seeing a few letters of it?
Maybe not even the whole thing. The fovea covers about 3 to 4 letters to the left and right of your fixation point.
That's it? That's nothing.
Right. But then you have the parafoveal, which extends out a bit further. The resolution drops, but it's still useful. And this is where the research gets so clever, with these moving window experiments.
Okay, explain that. How do they do that?
They use an eye tracker that knows exactly where your fovea is pointed. So let's say you're looking at the word window. The computer shows window perfectly clearly. But everywhere else on the screen, all the other letters are replaced with X's, or just random gibberish.
Okay.
And the second your eye starts to move to the next word, the computer swaps the X's for the real word, just in time for your eye to land there.
So a little window of readable text just follows your gaze around the page.
Exactly. And the big question is, how big does that window need to be before you notice something is wrong and your reading speed collapses?
And what's the answer?
For English readers, it's asymmetrical. You only need about 3 or 4 characters to the left of your fixation point. But to the right, you need about 14 or 15 characters.
So we have this tunnel vision that's stretched out into the future of the sentence.
Precisely. But only horizontally. You get almost zero useful information from the line of text below the one you're reading.
Okay, so I'm looking at word number 1, but I'm also seeing word number 2 in my periphery. I'm assuming I'm using that information.
You are absolutely using it. This is what's called the preview benefit. While your fovea is busy processing the word you're on, your parafoveal is already getting a head start on the next one.
It's like buffering the next video clip.
That's a great analogy, and that head start saves you, on average, about 30 to 40 milliseconds when you finally land on that next word. Without it, reading would be much, much slower.
So what are we previewing exactly? Am I getting the meaning? If I see the word song in the corner of my eye, does that help me read the word tune any faster?
Surprisingly, no. The research is pretty clear on this. The semantic meaning, the actual concept, is too complex to grab from that blurry peripheral view.
So it's not the meaning. What is it then?
You get the shape, how long the word is, you get some of the letters, and really fascinatingly, you get the phonology, the sound.
The sound, before I've even actually looked at the word.
Yes. There's a famous study with homophones, words that sound the same but are spelled differently, like beach, the sandy place, and beach, the tree.
Okay, with you.
So you're reading a sentence about the ocean. You're about to look at the word beach. But the researchers, in that preview spot, they secretly put the word beach, B-E-C-H.
Oh, that one.
The wrong one.
Yeah.
But right as your eye lands there, they swap it to the correct spelling. And the question is, did that incorrect preview mess you up?
I would think so.
It didn't. Readers still got the full preview benefit because beach, the tree, sounds exactly like beach, the sand. Your brain grabbed the sound code from the periphery, and that was enough to get the system ready.
That's wild. It implies that my inner voice, the sound of the words in my head, is a really fundamental part of reading.
It is. It's called phonological coding. And we don't just hear the words, we actually perform them in our heads.
Perform them. How so?
We impose something called implicit prosody. We give the text rhythm and stress and intonation. You read a line of dramatic dialogue completely differently than you read a technical manual, and your eye movements will actually change to match that internal performance.
So the drama in my head actually controls the mechanics of my eyes.
The internal voice is the conductor of the orchestra.
Which brings us to the engine itself. We know the eyes jump and stop, saccades and fixations, but who's driving? What tells the eye when to jump and where to go?
It is definitely not random. It's a very sophisticated system. And you have to separate two different decisions the brain is making, the where decision and the when decision.
Okay, let's start with where. How does my eye know where to land?
The where is mostly low-level visual cues. Basically, we aim for the spaces between words. The ideal landing spot is just to the left of the center of a word.
Why left of center?
For an English reader, that's the sweet spot to get the most information. But we're pretty bad at aiming. The muscles are noisy, we overshoot, we undershoot. We're constantly making tiny little corrections.
So where is the brawn? What about when? What decides when it's time to leave a word?
When is the brain? This is all cognition. The brain essentially holds the eye hostage. It says, you are not leaving this word until I have figured it out.
So the harder the word, the longer my eye is physically stuck there.
Precisely. These are called lexical factors. The biggest one is frequency. A common word like the or house, you barely look at it. A rare word like obsequious, your eye gets stuck there for much longer.
What about words I just skip entirely? I know I do that.
We all do. We skip about 30% of all words, but it's not random. You're mostly skipping short, predictable function words. Off, in.
And is that because they're short or because they're predictable?
It's mostly the predictability. If I say, she opened the
door.
Right, your brain predicts door so strongly that your eyes might just jump right over it. Why waste time looking? But if the sentence was, she opened the giraffe, your eyes would slam on the brakes. You'd stop, stare, and probably regress.
Regress, as in jump backward.
Exactly. We do that about 10 to 15% of the time, usually when we're confused.
Which brings us to the garden path sentences. I love these.
This is the best. They lead you down one interpretation and then just pull the rug out from under you. The classic example is, the horse raced past the barn, fell.
The horse raced past the barn, fell? Yeah, that just... It breaks my brain. It feels wrong.
It feels wrong because you parsed it wrong. You read the horse raced, and you assumed raced was the main verb. The horse was racing. Then you hit fell at the end, and the whole thing collapses.
Oh, I see it now. The horse that was raced past the barn fell.
Exactly. Raced is a passive participle. But here's the amazing part. When your eyes hit fell, they don't just search around randomly for clues. They perform a smart regression. They jump back specifically to the point of ambiguity, to raced.
The brain knows exactly where the crime scene was.
It keeps a spatial map of its own analysis. It knows my subject-verb agreement went wrong back at word 3, and it sends the eyes right there to fix it. It's a targeted undo.
The speed and coordination of all this is just staggering. It's all happening in milliseconds.
It's a high-speed linguistic gymnastics, and scientists have tried to build models to explain it. The leading one right now is called the Easy Reader model.
Easy Reader. Sounds like a toy.
It does, but it's a very powerful computational model, and it tries to settle this huge debate. Do we process words one at a time, serially, or many at once, in parallel?
Well, based on the preview benefit, it has to be parallel, right? I'm processing the next word while I'm still on the current one.
That's the intuitive answer.
Yeah.
The Easy Reader actually argues that, attentionally, we're serial. We only focus on one word at a time. The trick is how it handles the motor delay.
The delay.
The time it takes for the signal to get from your brain to your eye muscle. It's not instant. So the model suggests the brain basically decouples the command to move from the act of paying attention.
How does that work?
Okay, think of it in 2 stages. As soon as the brain finishes stage 1 of processing a word, that's just a quick familiarity check, it immediately tells the eyes, start programming the jump to the next word.
So the command to move goes out before we're even done with the word.
Exactly. While the eye is getting ready to move, your attention stays on the current word for a few more milliseconds to finish up stage 2, getting the full meaning. It's this perfectly timed cascade that makes the whole system feel instantaneous.
That makes so much sense. If we waited to be 100% done before even starting the eye movement, reading would feel so clunky.
Agonizingly slow. And what's really amazing is that this whole system adapts.
Adapts to what?
To the language you're reading. Everything we've talked about is for English, a left-to-right language. What if you read Hebrew?
Which is right to left.
Correct. And for Hebrew readers, that whole perceptual span flips. Their tunnel vision stretches out to the left, into their future.
The hardware adapts to the software.
It gets even cooler with Chinese. Chinese uses information-dense characters, not an alphabet.
So you get more meaning packed into a smaller space.
Right. So the perceptual span shrinks. In English, we're looking 15 characters ahead. In Chinese, it's maybe 2 or 3. The jumps, the saccades, are much shorter. The brain knows the code is dense, so it changes its sampling rate.
So the system is totally malleable. It optimizes itself for the code it's trying to crack.
Exactly.
We've covered a ton of ground here, from being blind when we read, to predicting the future, to how the whole engine changes for different languages. If you had to boil it all down, what's the headline?
The headline is that the eyes are servants. We think we read with our eyes, but we don't. We read with our minds. The eyes are just the data collectors, and they're being yanked around from moment to moment by the cognitive demands of the brain. The brain is driving the bus.
It really changes how I think about a page of text. It's not this passive receiving of information. It's more like a hunt.
It is an active-aggressive interrogation of the page.
An interrogation where you go blind thousands of times without even noticing.
That's the part that really sticks with you. We said saccades take up maybe, 10 to 20% of your total reading time?
Okay.
We'll do the math. If you spend an hour reading a book tonight, that means for 6 to 12 minutes of that hour, your eyes are effectively closed. You aren't seeing anything at all.
I was blind for 10 minutes and my brain just papered over it.
It filled in the gaps. It gave you the smooth pan so you wouldn't notice the strobe light.
That is equal parts incredible and terrifying.
That's the brain for you.
Well, I think I need to go give my eyes a rest now. Thanks for digging into the machinery with us.
My pleasure.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.